Sadas? What's up, Rodders? Another fucking episode of Hood Tales with the Sevlok. I kind of wanted to talk about when I was younger. My relatives basically they moved to this area, and I consider everything that's in the metro of like all the surrounding cities of Denver, all the Denver metro. So people will say, I'm not from Denver, I'm from Aurora. To me, it's all the Denver metro. It might be its own little city, but it's the Denver metro. The big city's Denver. And it's not like Aurora is 45 minutes away. Aurora, there's one street that divide Aurora from Denver. So it's all the Denver metro. There's another city, people say, I'm from Montbello. I'm from the Bow side. I'm from Calos, but it's still the Denver metro. Like, it's not far from Denver. It's not 45-minute drive, a 20-minute drive. It's literally right there on a highway, and you're in Montbello or Commerce City or Thorin. People will separate that shit because fools be like, I'm from the A-Town, and then fools from Denver that are from the Denver city of Denver, they say, I'm basically from Denver, But I literally, I don't separate that shit. I'd be like, everybody in the Denver metro is from the Denver metro. That's what it do. Well, just a rundown. Denver City, the city of Denver, like the city of Denver. Basically, my whole life, this is just a reality, is most of the gangs in the Denver city all ride this shit called 13K. Basically, everybody in the Denver city don't like Sureño hoods. There's not really a presence of Sureño hoods in Denver. Majority everything in the Denver city is going to be, Northside fools and not Norteños. Northside original Denver gangs like NSMs and Northside Vagos and Northside Quintalomas and Northside UTAs and criminals from the north. And then you have, the Odies and Crips and the Bloods, and then you got Westwood Hoods, and you got, GKIs and the Inca Boys and West Side Homies and South Side Steels and the North Side Warlords and ESG, East Side Gangsters, but everybody in common, everybody in the Denver city basically has this in common. It's Denver, and they don't fuck with Sureños. So basically, people will say, the Denver city is basically a no zone for Sureños. Now, this is the reality. When you go outside of Denver, though, in like Montbello, Aurora, you're going to have presence of Sureños, and then when you travel outside of the whole Denver metro, when you go to like North Colorado, Northern Colorado, and Southern Colorado, like Colorado Springs and Pueblo and then Greeley and all these other cities that are like out an hour away from Denver, you're going to have big presence of Sureños and Norteños, but those are other cities, like those are outside of the Denver metro. Aurora and Montbello, those are Denver metro, but they're not the city of Denver. They have Sureños in Montbello and in Aurora. You have more of the presence of the Sureños. Not really Norteños in that little area, but like I said, Denver has more Northside gangs, and everybody pretty much pushes, they don't like Sureños, because when you go to the penitentiary out here, the Sureños from the Southside cities, they all pretty much link up in the penitentiaries out here in DOC in Colorado. And the Sureños out here, when they all link up and every city links up with them Sureños, they're deep. So they make problems for Denver original Northside gangs. And then so you have Denver gangs that call themselves the Denver Card to basically have numbers to bang with, you know what I'm saying, the Sureños. But that don't have nothing to do with the Bloods and Crips. It's just more the Chicanos in Denver have the shit called the Denver car in DOC to bang with to have enough numbers to be on yards with the Sureños. That's just the truth. I never rode the Denver car because I don't fuck with, I don't fuck with some of the Mexican Bloods and the Odies, and I'm not from the West with the G's and all that shit. I'm from East Denver, and that's just all Odies and Crips, but Odies are more SA Mexican fools. So anyways, I went off into the culture and shit, but so my relatives, my cousin and my uncles, they moved to Montbello. I don't know nothing about Montbello really, but they got their own little gangs, and pretty much, it's just a littler city. I'm hearing about fools is active out there. I'm hearing about they got some Sureños and they got Crips and Bloods out there, and they're hella active. I don't believe it because I'm from Denver. I'm from D-Town, baby. Like, I only know about Denver really. I don't really stomp through Montbello, and I lived in Aurora, but I didn't really stomp through over there unless it was like on Xenia Street and them sound work and shit. But so we move over there. And the block we move, there's a school across the street, and basically we move to the second house on the block, and then you see the park, and that's Montbello High School, and the little high school they have over there in the elementary, and they had soccer games, but it was crazy. So my auntie's house is right here. The next door neighbors, they some Montbello Crips. They Montbello Crip. They from Black Mafia Crip 5-4, and then they got some 55 Street, some 55th Street, Montbello Truist. They had the Raymonds, and I think honestly they even had some 60s, and then you had the Bloods out there, Storming 80s or whatever they're called, bro. Most Hated, 187 Family, like it's gang banged out over there too, but like I said, my auntie lived right next door to some Montbello Crip fools, some black fools, and then down the street, it was crazy because all of a sudden this summer we seen basically some fools that look like some straight SA fools from Cali. They pull up over there, and you started seeing Sureños start having a presence right there. Oh damn, I'll answer that later. So you started seeing the Sureños having a presence right there, and it started being a little tension. It started being tension with who we were over there with and who they over there with, and it's on the same block, about 11 houses in between, and that's always that atmosphere always can get amped up at any times because motherfuckers just have two different types of lifestyles, and then it's the power trip of gangs. Well, to make a long story short, the Sureño fools that moved over there, they actually were Longos from California. To really be honest, they were some Cali Sureños. I'll tell you a story about that situation later down the road. So this night, I thought, young Sevelo thought he was a young pimp. He thought he was, suave. I have the green eyes, and, at this time I'm not married or anything. So, I got a couple little baddies on the motherfucking squad. I got a couple of females on the team. And this night I'm talking to some female on the phone, and the phone that I'm talking to, it was them old landlines. It was not a cell phone. So when somebody would call and you're on the phone, it would have that beeping sound, and then you would have to click over if somebody was on the other line, and that's how them phones worked. Well, I'm talking to this female on the phone, and I'm chopping it up, and I think I'm a little pimp and shit, and I start hearing the somebody on the other line beep. It's like dun, and I'm like, I'm not gonna answer that shit. I don't want to talk to whoever's on the other line. I'm talking to this girl. While they're blowing it up, every 10 seconds it would stop, and then they were blowing it up. Well, I had forgot. My little cousin that was at the house with me went to the liquor store with this female named Nicole to go get some liquor and blacks. And then my older cousins were outside, so we don't have none to really worry about. This is our block pretty much. Well, that phone keeps going off. Somebody keeps blowing up the phone. So I get pissed. I said, hold up real quick. I click over and I'm like, how low? Like I'm pissed. And he's like, hey, cuz, they're chasing us. They're chasing us. And I'm like, it's my younger cousin that went to the liquor store. I'm like, who's chasing you? He's like, because I can't explain. Just come out in fucking the next 10 seconds. I'm pulling up. They're after us in a car. So I fucking just hang up the phone. I run outside. My cousin Bible, my OG, I'm like, hey, cuz, they're after your brother. They're about to pull up. They're about to pull up. Just when I said that, my cousin's car, the female Nicole, she was driving. She drives up all crazy, hits the brakes, puts the car in park, and then this other car behind him swerves down the block and almost hits their car, and then they pull to the side and they hop out, and it's three fools. Well, they didn't know, and this is what happened is my cousin and her got in an altercation at the liquor store with these Sureño fools, and they started fighting. Well, the Sureño fools basically, there was three dudes, and then there was, and then they were fighting my cousin and some females. So my cousin bangs with this fool, and they hop in the car, and then the Sureños start chasing them. So when they come up to where we are, they don't see me coming from the house. I'm off to the right of them, and I start running up like the little block, and it's just a little separation from where they are. And the homie squares up with the female. She's with it. Nicole's with it. She's in the middle of the street about to bang with this fool. And as soon as I see that shit, I run up super fast, and he don't even see me coming from nowhere. And he acts like he's about to swing on her. Well, right when he acts like he's about to swing on her, I just jab this fool. I just drop this fool. Boom. Hit him in his jaw. Boom. And this fool, the way he buckled, bro, like his whole legs just went from under him, and he found his head hit the concrete. Boom. Soon as his head hit the concrete, my other cousin was on the top of this fool with his foot, put his head back in the concrete. Then my older cousin, he comes with a rock, and he literally does this gorilla thing, this big old rock that he had, and he slams it on this fool's head. When that mother fool seen that shit, they try to fucking hop in the car, and they act like they were gonna back out. So fools start busting out their windows. This fool's literally laid out in the middle of the street, and they're trying to leave him, bro. So all of a sudden, man, I seen people started noticing it in houses right there. We start dipping. Get back to the house, shut off the lights. Bam. We fucking just lay down, bro. Like, damn, what the fuck happened? So anyways, bro, to make a long story short, cops came over there. Nobody got in trouble, but that shit domino affected to almost a big ass war. And eventually it turned into us beefing with these Cali Sureños, and it got pretty hectic. But you know what it is, man. Savage Chef, the Sevlok, Rada. You know what time it is, man. I'm going to get at y'all. Until next time, y'all stay blessed. Let's go.